Palace Cafe in downtown New Orleans is one of several first-class operations flying under the Brennan name, Commander's Palace Branch. At taping time, the chef there was New Orleans native Robert Bruce. He pays homage to the city's first lady of food with Ella's whole roasted fish.
What I've got here is beeliner snapper, which is a beautiful fish from the Gulf. And I've already taken the guts out because I didn't want you to have to deal with that. What we're going to do is we're going to take it about right here, and we're going to hack that sucker right in half. Take the head off. Take our scissors. Cut the spinies off so they don't poke you. Okay? Trim the tail a little bit. Oops. Okay. So that's there. And then what we're going to do is, it's been scaled already. The scales are gone from it. What we're going to do is we're going to season it with some Creole seasoning on both sides and dredge it in some cornmeal. Okay? And in our saute pan, what we're going to do is get some nice ripples there. Place the fish in the saute pan. We're going to let that sear on both sides. Meanwhile, we're going to prepare our sweet potato ribbons. Then we take it, and we poke it right there. Stick that in there like that. It's a handy dandy little machine here. And then twist and push, and the sweet potato just comes out. Use a lot of this as a garnish. Pile it high, looks great, tastes great. It's outstanding. Takes a little effort.
It's unlikely a vertical slicer will be found in a home kitchen. Here's an alternative method.
We're going to make that by simply taking a peeled sweet potato. These are from Opelousas, Louisiana. And we're going to go down it like that, turning it the whole time, so that you don't want it to be too wide. You want it to be ribbons. So you keep turning it. Till you have enough ribbons. This is a great way to do it if you're doing it at home. If you have one of those special little chromium, titanium Suzy Wan machines, it's a little bit faster that way. But this is another way to do it right here. We're going to take our little fry basket, take our sweets, long. Careful not to overcrowd the basket. Check our grease first, make sure it's ready. It's looking good. It's going to be a couple of minutes on the grease. In a separate pan, let it get hot first. We're going to put a couple tablespoons of salted butter, okay? Salted butter. You want to slowly melt this butter, and then it's going to brown nicely. If you do it too fast, it's going to burn too quickly. There. Check our fish. Go a little bit more. We're going to sear the fish on both sides, and then we're going to finish roasting it in the oven for about 15 minutes until it's nice and crispy. So while our butter's melting here, what we're going to add to it, we're going to add a little kosher salt, some chopped shallots, some chopped garlic, a little cracked white pepper, swirl it around a little bit. We're going to steep some whole thyme leaves into it and put some capers into that. That's going to brown slightly, and then at the end we're going to add some lemon juice to that. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to go ahead and flip the fish. It's nicely browned on one side, and the skin is crisp because you want to have that crisp skin. Okay. Gently turn it over. Okay. See what that. See, it's nice and crisp right there. Then what we're going to do is put it in a 500-degree oven for about 15 minutes. Fry our sweet potatoes. Okay, we have our ribbons here, and carefully want to put those into the grease. Be careful not to overload the basket. Last thing you want to do is have your grease all over the place. So you must be careful when you do this. And on the side, what we have here is a hotel pan to drain the sweet potatoes before we plate them on the fish. When this is just about getting brown here, check our sweet potatoes, they're looking good. We're going to take our little lemon wrap here. We're going to squeeze some fresh lemon juice into that. Okay. You want to make sure that you swirl this stuff well so that it forms a more emulsified type butter. If it sits too long, if it just sits there, it'll boil and it'll look like grease on the plate. Drain them. Season those with a little salt, kosher salt, freshly cracked white pepper. We're going to place our fish down on the plate. We're going to garnish that with the bubbling beurre noisette. We're going to place our fried sweet potatoes kind of off to the side, leave a little space so you can get to the food. Okay? And on that, we're going to garnish it with some fresh herbs in the sauce and on the fish, and send some diced red peppers. That's the Ellis fish with the sweet potato nest.
Jean-Louis Paladin's mother was Spanish, his father Italian, and he was born in Gascony, which he calls French food paradise. He got into cooking for more terrestrial motives. He hated school. Now one of the celebrities in Las Vegas at Napa in the Rio Hotel, he prepares roasted banana with hazelnuts.
I'm doing banana papillote with raisin, white raisin, and rum, and a caramel of banana caramel. Here you have the banana puree, sugar, the raisin, the rum, vanilla sugar, butter, some nut, and we did for 24 hours, we slice the banana and dry in the oven with a little bit of sugar. The oven is around 100 degrees all night. And the next morning you arrive, just take it out, and that's exactly what we have. What I'm doing right now, I'm just going to do the caramel first, a little bit of sugar, with the banana, the banana puree. What I'm doing, I'm adding salt, sugar, vanilla sugar, some raisin, some rum, and a little bit of butter. You need to have an oven at about 350 degrees, and that's going to cook for about 8 minutes. Be careful not to do any hole on the paper. Gonna cook for about 8 minutes. After 8 minutes, going to open it, add the caramel, some dry hazelnut, And we're gonna do it with banana ice cream, or if you have vanilla ice cream, or chocolate chip cookie ice cream, whatever, on a rum ice cream, you can just use your imagination to do it. I'm very careful not to burn the caramel. The papillote is going into the oven. Caramel start to have a beautiful color. We just open the papillote after 8 minutes with a knife or a scissors, like you want. Put it on a plate. You have the and the rum. You add the caramel on top of the banana. You want to add some nut all around to have the crispy. And I'm going to add the ice cream, the banana ice cream. Just on top of it. And I have my dry banana.
Welcome to Great Chefs, a culinary tour of the United States, featuring some of the country's finest chefs.
The starter is prepared by Kim Continwalla in Biloxi, Mississippi. It's a tian of tuna tartare with grilled starfruit and a garnish of chili mayonnaise. Then Tom Parlow presents a colorful plate from Key Biscayne, Florida, a yellowtail snapper filet on a bed of artichoke, fennel, and olives with dried tomatoes. Then from Scottsdale, Arizona, Richard Ruskell presents a bomb of frozen dark chocolate mousse with mint white chocolate mousse inside, garnished, of course, with chocolate. Kim Continwalla, the executive chef at Beau Rivage Hotel and Resort in Biloxi, was born on Christmas Eve in Pakistan. Luckily, he moved to Canada and began his culinary career at the Institut Saint-Denis in Montreal. Now enjoying the subtropics in Mississippi, he offers this tuna tartare and starfruit.
We're using sashimi grade tuna. I want about 3 ounces of tuna. And we'll dice this into 1/4 inches. This is a beautiful tuna.
The tuna is combined with minced shallot, garlic, capers, and herbs, including chervil, dill, thyme, tarragon, and chives.
Small amount of grainy mustard, adding it to the tuna. Lime, orange, and lemon, which we will add to this. Small amount lemon juice. Touch of lime. And a touch of orange. Making sure no seeds go in there. Add a little virgin olive oil. A touch of champagne vinegar. And start to mix this. Now we season it. A little bit of kosher sea salt. And a bit of fresh coarse pepper. Okay, just let that sit for a while. Get our star fruit. We have two sizes of star fruit here, a larger star fruit and a smaller star fruit. For this dish, we're going to use the larger star fruit. It's a bit ripe, but we're going to take off the trim from the edges here. We're not going to use the end pieces because we want the center cut. We want it as wide as possible. You can always use this in a salad or whatever you like. Just munch on it. You want to cut the star fruit about 1/4 inch thick. Five pieces. We'll cut 6, grill them off, 7. Remove the seeds. Drizzle this a little virgin olive oil here. Star fruit on there, season it up. And then we'll grill the star fruit off. A little salt again. Give me a little bit of sugar, please, Anthony. A little white pepper. Adding a little bit of sugar to this as well. Caramelize it a little bit.
The slices are rotated to burn in grill marks.
It's ready. What we want to put into here is also some pink peppercorns to enhance the flavor. It's been sitting a couple of minutes. You can see the citrus juice is taking effect of the tuna, starting to discolor it a little bit, and it's starting to infuse, and all the flavors are coming together. With the chili mayonnaise.
Presentation includes a chili mayonnaise made with ketchup, chili oil, chili flakes, horseradish, and mayo.
Orange, lemon, and lime zest, which was blanched in simple syrup, which we're going to put on the top in a minute. But first, we'll put a little bit of fried capers. We fried these capers beforehand. They're crispy, and this will be part of the garnish of this dish. And we'll add some of this fresh herb that we used and put into the tuna. We'll throw a few sprigs around. Some dill.
Chives.
A few more pink peppercorns. Garnish the top with a little bit of lemon, orange, and lime zest. Simple. Tien of grilled star fruit and tuna tartare.
At tape time, the executive chef at the Sonesta Beach Resort, Key Biscayne, was Thomas Parlow. In that capacity, he is responsible for 4 restaurants, banquets, menu development, and staff training. A veteran of hotel organizing, he stretches out with his entree of yellowtail snapper and basil potato puree.
Yellowtail snapper is a local fish. It's brought in from the Keys, and for this dish, I have a nice 3-pound fish. I'm going to fillet it. Remove the belly portion with your knife, cutting it down at an angle. And for our dish, we want a nice, thick center cut piece. Okay. The vegetable we're preparing for the snapper is artichoke and fennel. We take a fresh artichoke bottom that's raw. You keep it in a little bit of acidulated lemon water. To the fennel, we're going to add lemon juice, lemon zest, and diced Mediterranean olives. I use Kalamata, Sicilian greens, Cerignola, and Niçoise olives. I'm going to use some of the seasoned salt. Some dry white vermouth. And some extra virgin olive oil. The olives add a little, have saltiness to them, so you don't want to add any salt to this mixture. And also the spice salt has the salt flavor also. Place 1 portion in the center of the plastic wrap, making sure you get some of the liquids. Your fish, you want to season both sides with the spice salt. Drizzle a little olive oil on the bottom. Place on the center. drizzle a little olive oil on the top. And you want to wrap it completely. Then you place the whole package in aluminum foil. And we bake this for 15 minutes in a 400-degree oven. And while it's cooking, you can check it, and when it feels nice and firm, then the fish is ready.
A basil puree is used to flavor and color mashed potatoes.
Keeping the potatoes warm on the stove. Gradually want to stir in milk. Add a little olive oil.
The sauce for the dish has a yellow tomato and saffron base. It will be pureed before presentation.
And this method of cooking keeps in all the liquids and all the juices, which I'm going to pour into the sauce. Using a spatula. Place in the center of the plate. I'm going to place 3 petals of the oven-dried tomatoes around the plate. I'm taking the basil potato puree. I'm going to form 3 quenelles. Scoop the sauce around. And for the garnish, I saved the skins of the tomatoes when I made the oven-dried tomatoes, and I dried them out in a 200-degree oven, sprinkled again with some herbs and olive oil, and I saved the sprigs to the fennel tops that I sliced for the dish. And we're going to put a little garnish on the top of the yellowtail. We'll sprinkle a little bit of it around. And here we have yellowtail snapper with artichokes and fennel with a yellow tomato sauce and oven roasted tomatoes and basil potato puree.
The Phoenician Resort in Scottsdale has propelled several young chefs into national recognition. The pastry chef there is Richard Ruskell. In 1999, he was honored as one of the top 10 pastry chefs in the U.S. by Chocolatier magazine. Appropriately then, here is dark and white mint chocolate bomb. The white mint chocolate is begun by chopping fresh mint roughly. It is steeped in boiling heavy cream. Steep for about a half an hour.
After the cream and the mint have steeped a half hour, I return it to a boil. I combine the egg yolks and the powdered sugar and whisk them together until they're light in color. I pour the cream and the mint over the egg yolks. and whisk to combine. I take the gelatin that has been soaking, take it out of the water, squeeze any excess water out, and add that to the hot cream. I whisk this together to melt the gelatin.
The mixture is strained into melted white chocolate. After the mixture has cooled to body temperature, whipped cream is folded in.
I combine about a third of it with the chocolate mixture, fold that in to lighten it. And then I combine the rest. After folding, this mousse needs to rest in the refrigerator for about a half an hour to an hour in order to firm up enough to pipe. Next, I'll be making the dark chocolate mousse that goes on the outside of the bomb, and the recipe calls for sugar, water, whole eggs, egg yolks, bittersweet chocolate, and heavy cream. I'm going to put the eggs and the egg yolks into the mixing bowl and attach the whisk attachment.
The sugar and water are combined.
And cook this syrup to soft ball.
With chocolate, temperature is everything. The chef is testing the melted dark chocolate. The eggs are beaten on medium speed.
When the temperature of the syrup reaches 248 degrees, which is soft ball, I remove it from the heat and very carefully pour it down the side of the bowl of the mixer. I don't want it to touch the beaters and spread the syrup all over. So just carefully pour it down the side while the mixer is running. When I've added all the syrup, I turn the mixer up to about 3/4 speed, not completely full speed, and let it beat until cool.
Two of the components for the dessert are the dark melted chocolate and the beaten eggs and sugar mixture.
Now I need to combine all three components to make the mousse. I'm first going to take about a third of the heavy cream, put it into my chocolate, which has been cooled to about 100 degrees. I'm going to whisk that in vigorously because I don't want the chocolate to set up. So I've just lightened the chocolate up with the heavy cream. And now I can begin folding in the zabaione, which is what gives the mousse its lightness. Fold very carefully so you don't deflate the mousse. I don't want to completely fold in the previous amounts before I add in the rest of everything, because I don't want to deflate the mousse too much.
The dark chocolate mixture is piped into a FlexiPan mold.
But that's all I want. And then you fill as many molds as you need.
Then the mint white chocolate mixture.
And actually plunge the pastry bag into the center of the dark chocolate mousse so the middle is filled with the white mint. Okay? And even out the top. This needs to go into the freezer and rest until it's completely frozen.
The frozen dessert is coated with a combination of melted chocolate and cocoa butter using a paint sprayer. The bomb is presented with a variety of chocolate shapes.
Welcome to Great Chefs, a culinary tour of the United States, featuring some of the country's finest chefs.
Mark Poitevin presents an appetizer from Las Vegas. It's a pastry-wrapped tian of scallop and black truffle slices, served with a powerful veal-based truffle sauce. Then from North Carolina, Dean Mitchell prepares the entree. It's salmon seared in a mixture of honey and the soy-like tamari, served with couscous and veg. Dessert is from Tucson, Arizona. Thomas Beebe presents a lemon mousse Napoleon flavored with lemon curd, Italian meringue, and whipped cream with fresh fruit garnish. Mark Poitevin was executive chef at Tavern on the Green in New York from 1990 to 95. Then he moved to Maxime's, and 2 years later joined the Macchione family at Le Cirque in the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas. The energetic Frenchman offers this artistic first course, black tie scallops with truffle. The chef starts preparing the sauce.
Then I have all these little pieces of scallops there. Then that's all the little pieces that we cut, all the muscle of the scallops, all the little pieces that are broken, the broken pieces. That's what we're going to be using for the sauce. So I'm going to make sure the clarified butter is very, very hot to be able to sear them, because you want to color them, you want them to caramelize a little bit. So I'm just going to drop them in that casserole. There we go. So we're going to let these pieces of fragment of scallop caramelize. In the other side, I prepare a little bit of chopped shallots that I mix with 1 tablespoon of thyme, branch of thyme, and 1 tablespoon of rosemary. That's going to be the base of a sauce.
Also dry vermouth.
As you can see, the scallop are starting to caramelize very slowly. As soon as we have the scallop caramelized, nice and roasted, then we'll add the shallots, the thyme, and the rosemary. Basically, what I did with these scallops, as you can see, I took a nice big scallops, which what we call usually the U10. That's the size of the scallops. And what I basically did, as you can see around the plate, I'm going to cut the edge. That's that particular piece of the scallop that I'm just going to put on the sauce. And I'm going to do 3 nice thick slices of scallops. So you see what I did? The other piece, then after what I did, I took some spinach leaves, which are just blanched or steamed very, very fast in the water. So I put 4 of these leaves, laid down like a star a little bit, right in front of me. Then we have the truffles, and I lightly poach in the truffle juice with a drop of port wine, very lightly. Then we have basically all the ingredients we need. After, the next step is very simple. We take a slice of the scallops, slice of the truffle, and we're going to build the whole thing. What we usually do the scallop is very sweet by itself, and it's going to glue, the whole thing is going to glue back by itself. So you see? And when you slice the truffle, you don't want to slice them too thin, you know? Because after, when we're going to cut the dish, you want the truffle to come out. See, I did 4 slices, and I'm going to put 1 more. There we go. So basically what I did, I just reconstitute the scallops. I'm going to place it right in the center of the spinach. Okay? Then we're going to do a little bit of seasoning, very, very light. Inside, a little bit of pepper, and I'm going to wrap the whole thing together like this, you know, with the spinach leaves. Voila. You know, by the time we're doing that, I want you to notice, you see the scallops? They're nice and brown. They're starting to be caramelized. So now we're going to add the garnish, which is the shallots, the thyme, the rosemary, and a little piece of a bay leaves. And the bay leaves is something very strong and very flavorful. When we do a small sauce in small quantity, a half a leaves is plenty. You know? So now I'm going to let all these shallot caramelize also very slowly for the sauce. In the meantime, we have a scallop which is nicely wrapped in spinach, like this. So we're going to make sure we keep that shape nice and straight. Voila. So we don't need that anymore. We have egg yolks. And what I did, I cut some little strip of puff pastry. That will be basically the end of the scallop, and that will be where we're going to be wrapping the scallop on. I'm going to take that 1 piece of puff pastry strip. I'm going to just put a little bit of flour on the, like this, my dough will not glue on the thing. And what I'm going to do next, I'm going to take that scallops over there, put it right in the center of the puff pastry, roll it up, and a little bit of egg wash. I'm going to stick, you know, I'm going to stick the whole thing together. All right? Voila. So you see my scallop is right in the center of the puff pastry now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of these little rings like this. We're going to egg wash it on one side because you want that to glue to the scallops. And I'm going to build the whole thing. See, keep a little bit of a flour on the board, like this. Second side of the scallop. Voila. So you see you have a perfect cylinder with the 2 extremities. There we go. So your scallops basically is ready to go in the oven.
At the restaurant, the dish is served in this pan.
And on the piece of parchment paper, we're going to put that in the center of the pan. What we're going to do next, you know, before we bake that scallop will take about, I would say, between 9 to 10 minutes to be ready. It's a big scallops. What I'm going to do, I'm going to egg wash the whole thing now. Because when you put that in the oven, you want the scallop to get a beautiful, nice, goldy color, like if you were baking a piece of pastry or something. As a matter of fact, that's what you're doing. I'm going to put that right in the center of the pan.
Bake at 400 degrees.
You know, we have 10 minutes to finish that sauce. You see all the shallot caramelize at the same time with the pieces of scallops. Now we're going to go the sweet vermouth. You know, if you do, for example, 5 or 6 of these scallops, you know, 1 for each, you need about a good cup of noyer prat. So I'm going to go with the noyer prat. That's what we call deglazing. Oh, you see? When you deglaze, if the whole thing flame like this, it's even better. You're burning the alcohol. You don't want the alcohol to stay in the sauce. So you see, I'm going to lower the fire a little bit. I'm going to evaporate all the alcohol. You see, look, that's like a little, you see the consistency? That's like a little, the whole thing caramelized a little bit.
The sauce is finished with veal stock and truffle juice and strained. The sauce and shaved truffles start presentation.
And Yeah, I got some beautiful truffle there. We're gonna slice a couple of very, very thin slices of truffle and shave. And then I'm gonna take the other side, do the same thing. Just shave a little bit of that scallop. And after, we're gonna cut it right in the middle, like this. And you see, look at this. This is perfectly cooked. It's a little bit juicy on the inside. You can see the truffle layer perfectly in the pan. I'm gonna take a little bit of truffle oil, just drop a little bit on the top of the scallop to make it shine, and a little bit on the sauce, you know. Voila. Then we have a beautiful branch of shovel, and we're gonna cut and we're gonna put that right on the top of the scallop. You don't want to put it on the top of the scallop because you want to show, you know.
Morel's restaurant in the quiet little town of Banner Elk, North Carolina, is the kind of dining jewel that food writers scour the country for. Dean Mitchell, chef-owner, grew up in South Florida, traveled a lot, then opted for lifestyle, not glitz. His entree is honey and tamari seared salmon.
For this dish, I have in a pan honey and tamari, and I'm going to let it come to a rolling boil.
Tamari is a Japanese condiment derived from soybeans, although it's thicker, darker, and more mellow than soy sauce.
I'm going to let this mixture start to thicken and reduce. I'm going to place the salmon skin side up. And start to sear the fish. I'm going to let this mixture brown the fish and sear in the juices. You want to keep it over high heat so it keeps browning. The mixture will bubble and get dark, but that's okay. It's not going to give it a burnt or bad flavor. This is the searing of the fish. You want to check it for the right color. Okay, now remove the fish from the pan, transfer it to a pan. You can finish it off in the oven, or if you like it a little on the rare side, you can serve it that way. For the sauce, which is very simple, in a saute pan, we'll add some of the vinegar, apple cider vinegar. The dried mustard. We'll let that reduce a second. The honey. reduce this down and use this as a sauce, or for a lighter, lower fat content, or you can add a little heavy cream to blend the sauce. To present this dish, we're going to put in the center of a plate some couscous. Pastas can be used, or risotto. Here we use couscous on this. Place the salmon on the couscous.
Blanched turned carrots, green beans, and small zucchini balls are garnish.
Garnish it with vegetables of your choice. Place the cider vinegar and honey sauce around, a little over the top. And finish it with julienne of fried leeks.
Thomas Beebe was interested in food as a youngster. He was born in Howell, Michigan, and got his early training at the CIA. When he's not doing pastry, he enjoys cooking Italian food at home. Fortunate, since he's working at Vivace Restaurant in Tucson. His dessert is a lemon mousse Napoleon.
These are our ingredients. We have our sugar water for our mixture. We have a lemon curd, egg white, whipping cream, fresh berries, mint for garnish, and twill cookies. And we're going to start off with our sugar and water mixture. We combine these in a saucepan and bring those to a hard ball, or to a soft ball stage. So then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put our lemon curd. We make our own lemon curd here, but if you'd like to buy it at a store, you can buy it at the store also. What it is, it's egg yolks only, approximately 12 egg yolks, 2 cups of lemon juice, about 2 cups of sugar. What you want to do is combine all of those ingredients together, put them over a double boil, and then keep whisking it until it turns nice and thick. It comes out to this consistency right here. And what we'll do is we'll add this to the bowl. Okay, then we can set this aside. Then I'm going to add my egg whites to my mixer bowl here. And what we do is when this comes to a soft ball stage, we'll whip this to a soft peak, and then we'll slowly pour that in, whip it down a little bit until it cools. And then in this other mixer, we'll add the heavy whipping cream. Then once this comes to a cool, we'll go ahead and whip this up so it's nice and stiff. And then we'll fold this into here.
The softball stage is about 234 to 240 degrees.
Okay, now we'll just slowly pour this in.
He's making Italian meringue.
Let that mix for a few minutes while it cools. If you're ready to check it, just put your hand underneath the bowl. And it's not really hot to your touch, and it's ready to go ahead. What we want to do is fold this into our lemon curd, then whip our whipping cream, then fold that in, and then that's our lemon mousse. This you want to make sure you don't over whip, or it's your whole dessert will fall apart. Basically what it'll do is turn to butter. Okay. While this is whipping up, we'll go ahead and fold this into our lemon curd. To fold in, you might just want to keep your bowl spinning a little bit. Always start from the sides and go to the bottom. Now we'll fold our whipping cream in. The same motion as before. So take some of our fruit. A little bit of the mousse. Take one of our almond twill cookies. A little bit more of our mousse. Oh, these things wilted. And a little raspberry sauce right around the bottom.
Welcome to Great Chefs, a culinary tour of the United States, featuring some of the country's finest chefs.
The first course is cooked by Susana Davila in Tucson, Arizona. It's a hefty appetizer featuring